should I take if I think I have an injury, and how can I prevent re-injuring myself? This is a difficult one to answer without knowing what the injury is and what your definition of injury is. During my training, I would have many instances where I would have a pain, I would spiral into a world of panic that my season was done, and then a few days later the pain would have disappeared through some kind of treatment or just time. And was that an injury? I'm not sure. There are other pains that we've been dealing with for a while as it progressed slowly from discomfort to a little bit of pain to a good amount to suddenly too much to bear, in which case you're going to need a very different situation. The best advice I have is that if something hurts all of a sudden while running and it is enough to make you limp or change your running form, or it hurts the rest of the day after running, take 3 days off immediately. Now, it can be hard within those 3 days to wonder, am I wasting my fitness? Is it better to, maybe it's going to go away on its own. Is it better to just keep going? But in my experience, it has always been better to be cautious and than to add 3 additional days of impact that makes it worse. If it feels better after a day, just resist the urge as best you can to jump back in. Stick with those 3 days. And if it hurts beyond those 3 days, go see a medical professional. Resist as much as you possibly can the urge to ask Dr. Google, as it will tell you have 736 different injuries depending on which dark hole you end up down. And if you're seeing a physiotherapist, a physical trainer, athletic trainer, chiropractor, if you are able to see that person, ask them, what do they think? What are their suggestions? Find someone you trust, ask the other runners in your area for who they recommend, or ask the running clubs, ask the running stores. They will have a suggestion. If that's absolutely not possible, go see your general practitioner to get advice from them. As for how to prevent re-injury, injuries are a part of running life. That's just the reality for us as runners. However, you can give yourself the best opportunity to avoid it by first listening to that little voice inside that said, maybe I should stop. You know that voice, right? Or it might say, I'm too tired today, or something doesn't feel right. We've been trained to push through that voice, to ignore it and listen to the critical one that tells us we are lazy or we're a failure if we don't get it done. Most injuries are because of overdoing it in the combination of stresses in our life. And the second thing I would add to you is to go check out with a strength coach to figure out where your weaknesses are, especially if the one that has led you to this injury is something that has come about often. Even if you have a pain in your foot, the issue is not necessarily in your foot. It might actually be all the way up the chain, overcompensation from your hips or your glutes. So a good strength coach will have you look at the body as a whole and figure it out. Finally, the third thing I would recommend is check on your nutrition. No, I'm not talking about more clean eating. In many circumstances, it is becoming because you are trying too hard to control your eating and what is going in your body. So maybe step back, start adding in some of those unhealthy foods, but if they help you to get your calories in, go for it. I think checking in with your nutrition is another critical piece. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time.